plan, because we haven't caught anything in a minute, I'm gonna put on some waders and go into the water. Fashion. Hi friends, welcome to another episode of my 30 before 30 bucket list, where I'm trying to accomplish 30 really cool, fun, unique experiences before I turn 30. If you guys saw the last vlog, you will have seen that I flew to Denver, Colorado to go rock climbing with my friend Philip. Well, I'm still here because in Denver is a bonus Jonas bestie, and that's my good friend Jake, who also lives in Colorado. I guess Colorado makes sense because they're my two outdoorsiest friends, so they're in the right spot. But Jake is one of my very best friends. He's been in some vlogs. I'll leave them linked down below. He is an avid angler. And if you don't know what that is, I also just learned the term. But he is a hobbyist fisherman, and he is gonna take me to catch my very first fish today. Not my very first. I've actually caught a fish when I was younger because my family is in the fishing world. But this bucket list is about like my adulthood and doing things with intention. So we're gonna head out tomorrow on a little hike, and we're gonna go catch a dang fish. So I'll see you there.
Summer's pretty short.
Yeah.
One of the 53 14ers.
It is the next day. We had a lot of fun climbing with Philip, but now I'm with my other best friend, Jake, who is an expert fisherman, because today we're gonna be catching a fish. This is a fishing rod, if you couldn't tell. So this is on my bucket list because my family loves to fish. My grandpa was an avid fisherman. All of my uncles, my cousins, they go out fishing, and I would go with them, but I was never the one to do the fishing. I think because as a hyper little kid, I found it a little bit boring, and they told me that I talked too much and would scare the fish away, so I would go back up to the cabin or the campsite. But I like the concept of fishing. I like the idea of relaxing, being out in nature, and just kind of trying to catch a fish, but if you don't, it's about the experience anyway. So I hit up Jake, who lives in Denver, Colorado, beautiful fishing town. He goes fishing all the time. He's got all of the gear, so he's gonna show us how to go catch us some dinner tonight.
We're gonna do spin fishing and bait fishing. So bait fishing, you're gonna put some weights on there, and then you're gonna essentially put at the end of it a small hook with bait. Sherbert.
Sherbert? Ooh, I like the pink one. We're gonna go with the sherbert bait for the fish today. This is hard for me because I have to be quiet. I have to be quiet. Like that much?
Yeah, that should be it. And then you're just gonna place it over the hook. Just be careful when you pull off. There you go. Perfect.
That was a good one. Nothing yet on our bait line here, but it's all about patience with fishing. Patience and enjoying nature and friendship. Ah, bug.
And then spin cast fishing is you're casting, and then this is called a spin cast reel. It's going to spin when you reel it in, and that's more to mimic a small fish or some type of attractant. It'll wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
And so the fish will see it and they'll think, oh, a little baby fish that I can eat. Yeah, didn't really feel that long, huh?
I was a little underwhelmed. Can you do the Goofy Movie fishing dance? Oh, you don't know it? It's the, Dad, do the dance, do the dance. And then he starts doing his casting that he does for the dish, but he starts making it his dance. Oh, you gotta learn it. Those are the rules. If we listen to each other's hearts, we'll find we're never too far apart and made belong. Let me stop. All right. Jake brought a cooler of some snacks and drinks, so I'm gonna be enjoying a nice spiked snow melt. Never seen these before, but it's a spiked seltzer with electrolytes, so staying hydrated and having fun, but gotta keep it in a koozie. You got one?
I got a bite.
You got a bite. Why didn't you catch it? We'll do better. got a little fish. You did it. I'm getting attacked by a swarm of bugs. We're gonna relocate. Oh God, hope they're not biting me. All right, so Jake caught a little fish at the last spot, but no luck for me catching my first fish. So now we're here at Rainbow Lakes because here he said we're pretty much guaranteed to get a fish. So we have to hike for a mile and then on to the next spot. So let's go catch me some trout. Is it trout? It's trout, we're good. Look, there's snow. I'm from California, I don't see snow. Oh, oh, it's cold too. What a concept.
Why is it so wet?
Why is it so wet? Did you just catch a fish on your first? Right! Ah! We did it! We did it! Oh my gosh! We got one, team. Too easy. Hello. Hello, little guy.
You always want to make sure to put water on your hands so you don't hurt them.
Okay.
Because they have this protective slime. I'm running something now.
Ah. All right, so new plan because we haven't caught anything in a minute. I'm gonna put on some waders and go into the water. This should be interesting. Fashion. Fish on. Where is it? Yay! Jake got a fish! Woo! Hello, little guy. That's number 3 for him. I got a fish! We did it! Yeah. Well, I just caught my first fish, which it was exhilarating. My heart was beating so fast. It was like this big, but I think we're gonna catch more while we're out here. But I'm really loving fishing. It's very like in your own head, you know, like Jake keeps going and walking off and casting, but it's like each individual cast, I'm like, oh, this is a winner, this is a winner. All right, let's start over, let's try again. Not only that, but it's the most beautiful scenic view ever. Denver is just so stunning. I'm right next to a creek, if you could hear it. So it's so nice to be like one with nature, but also have a physical element to it. And it's very relaxing. So I'm really enjoying fishing, but also just the expertise of Jake. He knows everything there is to know about fishing. So it's nice to get like a cool modern view of fishing, if that makes sense. So we're just gonna spend a few more hours here up at Rainbow Lakes and see how many more fish we can catch. Hopefully a good enough one for like a thumbnail. I want like a big fish. That's what we're going for, big fish. Thunder. Uh-oh. So we got caught in the rain on the way down. So we're finding shelter to wait it out for just a second. But fun day fishing. Jake, how many fish did you catch in total?
Like 6.
No, I think Jake caught 7. I caught one.
One big one.
One big one, and I caught a fish, and that's all that matters. So thank you for helping me check this off my bucket list. We're gonna interview Jake tomorrow, more about his experiences, so I'll see you then.
Bye.
Do you have like a fishing goodbye? Like a bait you later. Oh, that was, oh! Duh.
Good boy. You sit?
You sit? Good boy.
Lay down.
Yay. All right, so we're back from fishing with Jake, and this is my puppy nephew, Timber.
Cool.
He's a little Bernedoodle, and he's just a little puppy. Thank you for taking me fishing yesterday. I had a really good time. But we need to talk about why you are considered my nature friend.
Nature friend.
So what are some of your experiences with why you're so in tune with nature?
Which easily enough has to go back to the Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think spending a lot of time as a kid out in the outdoors, hiking and backpacking and fishing and all that good stuff.
So then some of your earliest memories of fishing were from Boy Scouts, you'd say, and just like family trips and vacations?
Yeah, like our families would go camping in the summer, and when I was 13 we went to Alaska for a fishing trip. Like I feel like those are family values, like being out in the outdoors.
What do you enjoy about fishing?
It gets you into some really beautiful places, so kind of like that adventure aspect. So like the way that I prefer to fish, especially when I'm alone or with someone that's equally experienced, is to go and find like a stretch of a river or a lake, a high alpine lake that like it rarely sees other humans. Because that's like, you're out there, you're alone, you get these incredible views that a lot of people don't really see unless they go out that way. It's like meditation. You're blurring out everything else, you're pushing away issues of work and relationships and family and so on. I don't think I've ever been like a spiritual person, but I think where I feel most spiritual is like in the outdoors. It feels very peaceful and clear, and you can get your mind clear about things and stuff.
Which was interesting because I always considered fishing boring, because I'm only used to where you throw out your line, set your bait, and then you just sit there and wait. You do the more active form of fishing where you're constantly casting, constantly moving. So it was meditative, because I think you said it was like, oh, it's 4 p.m., we should head out. And I was like, it's 4 p.m.? Like, time went by fast, but it was like peaceful yet active the whole time. So I enjoyed that aspect of it too. So you fish and you were a Boy Scout, but it's also that you're very involved and passionate about the environment as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your job?
I think the reason I got into the environmental space as a career and degree choice is because of my values around being in nature and preserving those natural resources for people to enjoy. So I work for Aero Electronics. They're like a electronics distributor. So like Intel, HP, Apple, Dell, a lot of the electronics manufacturers source parts through Aero Electronics. But we have a sustainability team at Aero Electronics that focuses on environmental sustainability. My role is more around using more renewable energy instead of fossil fuel-based energy, making sure that we're being more energy efficient, so we're not wasting energy, and we're using highly energy efficient appliances, and then it's a new team, so it's
Manager of Global Sustainability, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you're directly involved in environmental practices in the business and workplaces.
Yeah.
Why is that an important job for you to have?
Some people would say, like, wouldn't it be better to go work at like a nonprofit, for example, or like a environmental nonprofit, or what they call like these watchdogs, right? To watch these businesses to make sure they're doing good practices. And businesses are so important because they make up like 85% of the economy. And so these businesses, if we're going to move to a more sustainable future, one that we can actually live in for the long term rather than abusing our resources and killing our planet, then they need to be a part of the solution, right? There needs to be environmentalists like me sitting in those businesses to move them along and make sure that they're progressing at a good rate.
So if you're working with businesses, what do you recommend as we normal everyday people do to prevent climate change?
I always worry about focusing too heavily on the individual. Like, ultimately it is important because the individuals make up the whole, but at the same time we can't be shaming, like green shaming essentially people. Definitely look at your consumption and find different ways to be more sustainable, but at the same time also, vote, of course, and pressure businesses. Makes part of you making sustainable choices forces those businesses to do sustainable practices.
But that shows the importance of your job working with the businesses directly, because you're making a bigger change for the people who have the most impact in making those changes, and that's very admirable. People need to do their own research and see what works for them in terms of reducing their carbon footprint and trying to be more sustainable, but at the same time, don't put too much pressure on yourself to change the world, because it's a bigger impact on some of these corporations.
Don't focus too heavily on recycling.
It's
important, but it's not like, it's not the hill to die on. There's a lot more things that you can do that are going to have a greater impact on, or more positive impact on the environment than just recycling.
And then how do you recommend people get more in touch with nature? Is it going out and camping and doing more fishing trips, or what would you recommend to people to just find the value in nature like you do?
Yeah, I think even parks, but I think that's just a great way just to sit in a park and relax and sit under a beautiful tree.
You also showed me your garden today, which was lovely. What do you like about gardening?
You're looking at it from a pure like production. Like, I want a garden so I get a lot of tomatoes. Like, you're not necessarily going to be happy because there's a lot of time and water and so on to produce a tomato. And so it's more about like the nurturing and admiring how this thing grows. I think we as humans want to find opportunities to nurture things, to like take care of something. And so that's just That's why people, millennials, oh gosh.
Timber.
You know, millennials, instead of having kids, we focus on our plants and our dogs because we want something to like take care of.
Yep.
It's a lot easier than kids.
Yeah. Right, Timber?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking me fishing and telling me a little bit more about the environment and sustainability. Hopefully, I think I either want to start a garden or see if I can like rent a fishing rod. I'm not ready to buy a fishing rod yet, but on your next fishing trip, let me know, because I'm going to catch more than one fish next time.
Yeah, but it's a hobby. It's a really cool little hobby, and you get to like see some beautiful places and also interact with nature. Like we released all the fish that we had. You saw them. They were beautiful, beautiful creatures. So I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, and thank you, Timber. Thank you, handsome boy, for being the best puppy nephew ever. You going to come on our next fishing trip? He says yes. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
I am back from Denver, Colorado, and I recently went thrifting and I found this really cute frame with fish on it. So I wanted to give Jake a little present as a little thank you for showing me how to catch a fish, but also just his world of nature, his sustainability passion, as well as his advocacy for climate change. So I went out and I printed some photos, so I'm just gonna put it in the frame and give it to him the next time I see him, which will actually be pretty soon. Oh man, there's no glass on this. Oh well, glass is for boomers. Okay, here's the final result of our little fishing trip in our cute little fishing frame. Who's texting me? But I loved fishing? Controversial opinion? I think I was so biased against it because again, like I said, growing up, I just really didn't like it. Turns out I was just doing the wrong type of fishing. I don't like bait fishing, but fly fishing is where it's at. Plus, putting on those waders and going out into the water not only gets you more in tune with nature, but it just felt more fun. It felt more of like an activity, like an adventure, and like Jake said, it was very meditative and something that I would absolutely do again. I don't know if I'm ready to buy my own tackle box and fishing rods, but my cousins, my aunts and uncles, they still go fishing all the time. They head up to Big Bear, to Mammoth, and I've been kind of turning down their offers to be invited on those trips. But I think on the next one, I'd like to join them. So Jillian, if you're watching this, I'm ready. I'll just borrow your fishing rod. I also asked Jake to give me a list of some organizations that you guys should check out, as well as some actions you could take to live a more sustainable life and help prevent climate change, because we only have one Earth, so we gotta take care of it. And in addition, just go out and be more in tune with nature. He says it's as simple as going out into the park, going for a hike, going to the beach, and just making the most of this one planet that we have while we still have it. So let's extend while we still have it. But thank you, Jake, so much for showing me your world. Thank you for helping me catch my first fish. And I will see you guys in the next episode of the bucket list. Again, check out my Instagram if you want to see the full list and what I still have left to accomplish. But I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!